Hello everyone and welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video in Grand Arena 3v3 and to a slightly different format to usual in that my idiot self forgot to plug in my mic properly on the original footage, so all my audio was all corrupted and full of static and I just could not fix it. So we're going to do a sort of watch party and I'm just going to commentate over the footage as it comes along. So it's going to be a slightly shorter episode than usual because I've just cut out all the fluff basically. You'll only see Datacrons and the fights. So if you do enjoy this, obviously a like, comment is always appreciated, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below, and we should jump straight into it. So first up, we have the North Wall, which I'm showing here. As you can see, pretty tough on Datacrons. My opponent, even though they only had 9.7 million GP, set me a really tough defense, especially in the front. The back calls that you're about to see later on were not so tough, but this South Wall, pretty nuts. Got a Malgus team there with 4 Galactic Legends in this wall. Really unusual to see JML on defense, but it was quite a nice surprise, I suppose, and they were able to do that fight, which isn't really that common usually. An LV Maul RG, pretty standard, obviously a Jabba team as well. And then that bottom team that you can't see is Ray, Ben, and Salty, which we're going to be starting off here. So briefly going to show the Datacrons, so if you want to look at the Datacrons, you can obviously pause when we get across those, but starting off with this Ray Ben, I do make a bit of a mistake here. In that, well, I don't know if it was a mistake, it's a bit of an RNG roll, I suppose. Normally Mara takes another turn off, she does her AoE with the tenacity down, obviously to inflict the shocks, which I would have needed for stopping Ben going under stealth. So unfortunately I wasted my buff dispel with Starkiller, even though the shock applied afterwards. So Ben stayed under stealth, unfortunately, so we couldn't actually hit him. I did have to go after Ray here. But Maracron makes this fight a lot easier than obviously without it. I do believe that Maracron, I haven't really had a problem with against any of the Ray setups I've come up against in 5v5. It might prove a bit of an issue in not in 5v5, in 3, sorry. It might prove a bit of an issue in 5s is what I'm trying to say, where we can have like Cal Kestis and Sortie and things, going to be really annoying. I don't know how that'll actually play out in terms of what Datacron is going to be best, because I tend to use the orange Datacron, which I've been finding a lot more useful on defense for getting me some nice holes just because of that crit avoidance, which obviously helps Ray keep her inspiration stacks. Yeah, this is a pretty straightforward fight here. Don't know if Ben is in damage immunity and they're just waiting for an AoE. There we go. And then pull down the Star Destroyer, get full health and protection, and finish for a nice, well, 57 mana to start. Next up we have the LV fight, which we're going to be taking SLKR. Not been too confident using Bounty Hunters, which you may have seen in my ASOP video, where he used Bounty Hunters, of course, but I'm not too confident in mine to be able to actually pull that off, especially against these crazy Datacrons and modded LVs and Mauls and things. I know my Bounty Hunters probably aren't the best optimally modded for this counter, really, especially when it runs at quite a high risk of losing your characters. So tend to just stick with LV at the moment because it seems quite good, with obviously LV being able to heal up to full health because of the health steal, which actually worked in SLK's favor, and that you're able to crit him more, which means you can charge up your ultimate and obviously just do a lot more damage to LV. So while the Dotcron is good, health steal kind of really isn't for LV by the looks of things. Not that I would recommend re-rolling anything, because obviously it depends on how the rest of the Datacron or who you're facing regularly as to how you want to build your Datacrons. That is one of the things about everyone's count being different. You each have your own preferences for how you want to build things. I think we kill Royal Guard in a minute, and then we're just going to speed up the footage. I think we might just talk about some things to do with the game while we are waiting for things to finish. So first thing I want to talk about was obviously the raid. We've had a bit of controversy with the new raid, with the raid wars being pretty poor, so hopefully the new raid rewards update we're getting is going to be a good improvement. I do feel like the buff isn't quite enough, but we'll obviously see how that actually plays out when the raid is out, the new one system that is. It will be interesting to see whether obviously the R8 materials that were locked behind before, or whether they're going to be more available now. But everything just seems so expensive in the store still. I kind of feel like the prices need adjusting. But that's just my opinion. I don't know whether anyone else agrees with me on that. But in this fight, literally just whittling down LV. Waiting for us to be able to do enough damage to kill him, obviously. Middle special dispels all the protection up, so and basic applies buff immunity, which you see there, which is quite handy for obviously stopping him from getting more protection up. There we go for a 50 banner win. Not never great banners with this team, that's why Bounty Hunters is normally preferred. Now we have the JML fight. So I think I'm taking C against this. But I think I have some quite funny moments in this, and that I won't say anything actually, you'll see in a minute. It is pretty amusing to see this character kill this tank. I'll just say it's Malak. See, unfortunately I can't do a mass assist there because even though I could have recovered protection on C and Talon, it obviously doesn't do anything for Malak. Here, waiting for it. Come on, Jam, actually waffling in this video. Do something. There we go. I think we do a mass assist here, just so I can recover some protection on C and Talon. So trying to hopefully heal up Malak with a basic, even though it doesn't have a lot of health steal. But then, yeah, Hermit waves me to death. How ridiculous is that? Malak as well. Just like, nope. Hermit's just like, goodbye, goodbye. We don't want you here. That's because of obviously all that protection boost from the Datacron causing JML's lead ability to do massive damage there, but able to get rid of JML and Hermit and JKL. Obviously, just delete JML to finish for 50. We use JMK here. Yeah, JMK CAT and GK versus Jabba. This one's pretty standard, really. So I always give hello there to Cat, and then I always delete Chrysanthemum first, because the way I kind of see things is that if you do half ult and then go for Boushh, especially in threes, you're risking Jabba getting to ultimate. Because I just find if you can kill a Chrysanthemum straight away, and then you can do this by going around Chrysanthemum, because he'll come back and you won't have taunt though, that's the thing. You can actually kill Boushh off pretty quickly if you just put all the healing immunity and things on her, and then build up to full ult. But the reason why I do this is because with Chrysanthemum, you actually have effectively 400% of like health, and so 200% health and 200% protection to like whittle down just by doing normal abilities. But you can get rid of obviously 100% health and 100% protection with Cat's one leap. And everyone knows how annoying Chrysanthemum is as a tank. He's very he's actually a really good tank, in that he will tank a lot of damage for you. So it could take ages to kill him twice. So with this way, you actually just effectively only have to kill him once, which obviously makes the battle a lot quicker and you're less likely to time out. And it also means that Jabba is less likely to get the ultimate as well, which can save you a character and some manners, which I find is obviously quite important in Grand Arena at least. I know it plays out slightly different in Territory Wars with Embo coming into play and just the general annoyance of the team. That sometimes it is more beneficial to actually do a half ult and then go for Boushh immediately with the leap, because she can be really annoying and take a bazillion amount of turns. But we are literally just going to fast forward from here because pretty straightforward at this point. Just have to kill Chrysanthemum one more time, which is what I was talking about. So obviously I'd have to do this twice over if I had to kill Chrysanthemum again, even though he doesn't actually come back at full health and protection. Jabba does obviously a lot of healing with his basic, and Chrysanthemum can just heal whenever he uses his taunt ability, so it's just the way I prefer to do this fight personally. As you can see, Jabba is only just above 50% on ultimate. You can also go for Jabba straight away when Chrysanthemum comes back, because obviously he would have lost the no targeting status effect, or whatever you want to call it. So you can actually target Jabba once Boushh is dead and Chrysanthemum's back up again. But there we go. Nice finish for 57. Kept everyone alive, which is good. Now I have no idea what team we're facing now. I'll probably... This is going to be a surprise for both of us. Ah, yes. My unfortunate loss of my flawless week was trying Aphra against this Malgus team. This counter solely relies on Aphra not getting leaped. If she gets leaped, obviously it's game over, and I probably just spoiled what actually happened. So you shall see what happens in a minute. Luckily I don't get the first one, so okay, we're going to be alright here. I'll be able to kill this Malgus team, no problem, if they keep going for the summon, but it doesn't quite work out the way I'd hoped. Do you think this team has the damage output to actually do this? But obviously without a taunt or a tank of some sort, or any way of like Aphra cycling her turns a lot quicker like she used to with her Datacron, just make things a lot harder. It was definitely a counter that I would like to try out again if I get the opportunity to, obviously bearing in mind what Datacrons we're going to be facing in future Grand Arenas, that is. Yeah. I'm waiting for it. It's coming. Got a heal, which is quite nice, and the summon back in, but then... Oh, I thought it was dead. Never mind. Just cut that out, yeah? That was actually quite a lot later than the fight that I thought it was. Getting Arm Shot on Malgus obviously help try and increase our damage output against him. I'm trying to just kill Sith Marauder off because, yeah. So that's when it happens. Nice 200k leap, no biggie. But then I'll just fast forward from this because even though I could have fully come close if he hadn't got around to his leap so quickly, it just was pretty much impossible to ask for these guys just to be able to beat him on his own. Yeah, lose our summon first. I was kind of thinking, like, oh, maybe the droids can just carry it, but fortunately isn't the case because Malgus's kit, especially in Grand Arena, is super annoying, as everyone knows. Oh, I didn't even put it on full auto at that point. So waiting for just trip on his own. There we have it. So just looking at my screen, you probably have it covered up as me with my hand in my head. My head in my hand is what I meant to say. That was hand in head. That would look really odd. Yeah, JKL cleanup versus a solo Malgus, pretty straightforward, really. I'm just taking Mace here just to keep those ability blocks on him. Obviously, Shanty points help quite a lot as well in this fight. Not really too much to say. Looking at Kashyyyk, that does kind of remind me of Tarful, who does look really pretty good. I'm probably going to take Tarful up to Gear 11 at 3 stars and try and see if I can use my Wookiees in the 5v5 season. Especially with Darbar mission, who I do have that don't actually get used quite a lot, which would be quite nice. I could actually use like a Tarful mission, Zalbar, and like a Vet Smugglers team, something like that. Because I do know that Tarful has some lifestyle viability. But it's also going to be quite interesting to see how the Jedi Survivor version of Cal Kestis falls into the game, how impactful he's going to be. I know he's obviously going to be a big importance for the new Rise of Empire TV, but how much it actually put into like the Jedi teams and how much they affect it, how much he affects that, I do not know. So this is the back wall that you just saw. We have a trench team to beat. And now we're facing the Aphra with my usual Hux counter that I've been using. And this one was a bit spicy in the fact that this whole counter relies on you killing Aphra at the beginning, which you see I didn't do. So it is quite dependent on the Datacron, what the Aphra has. If they have additional armor, it could be really annoying. But I didn't actually take any... I think I did take armor penetration, but I would have preferred crit damage over that, I think, now looking back at it. I do feel like with some extra crit damage over the armor penetration, we probably would have killed that. The Aphra at the beginning, that is. But even though this does look a bit spicy at the moment. Obviously, you just kill Trip because the summon is a summon, like the soldier is for Momothma, so it just disappears as soon as you kill all the main characters on the board. So 52 there, not great, but needed doing. Now with Darth Revan, Malak, and Bastilla, which I tried LV solo. Probably could have done this on full auto, but I did not trust my LV to do the job on full auto. Just never had the best of luck whenever I've been confident with him, so if I just be a bit wary around him, it normally works out a lot better for me. So that's why that is the way I tend to do things. Yeah, kill Bastilla first, then I think we kill Revan next, then I would just put it on full auto. But going back to what I was saying about Cal, thing is, I do think we're going to get him his kit soon. Obviously, we've got the 5 characters we need to actually unlock him. It is a Wednesday the 10th at the moment, so we might actually get it as part of today's update. So really interested to see how he fits into the current game in terms of meta. I kind of hope that he's going to just not sit in a JML team, but goes into like a B, like the B team of Jedi. That'd be really nice if he could fit into there, or just like have his own team. That'd be even better, really. Don't know whether you'd even give him a rebel tag, maybe. I don't know. Next up, we have the CLS. I can't remember what I used against this. Oh, of course. Traya, Savage Omi, well, Traya Omi, Savage Omi, and Nihilus. This one's a pretty straightforward counter. This is the counter I normally tend to use against Reaver as well. Very good counter against Reaver if you have a good Datacron. And obviously the Reaver that you're facing isn't that great. You don't really necessarily need to have a good Datacron. See, a lot of things are dependent on mods, and there's just a lot of things to consider basically now. It's quite difficult to like say, oh, this is really good against this, because you never actually know, because a Datacron with say like 50% armor can do really well, and then next time you go against it with like 80% armor or something, it'd be like somehow did a lot more damage. But so it's literally all dependent on mods and Datacron interactions and kits and things. There's just like quite a lot of things to remember. I think I need to get like some sort of supercomputer implant of Star Wars Galaxy Heroes knowledge implanted into my head to see whether I can actually remember a lot of things in this game. This was a quick fight. I was kind of worried about Ahsoka and just this team in general with Wampa, because obviously they are all rebels, so Wampa will do additional 100% more damage on his basic to rebels. But my worry wasn't justified in that. This was very easy. Slightly scary moment with Ahsoka in a minute. Luckily he didn't go through the protection up, or knock me out, I would say. But as you can see, doing so much damage already just because that extra 100% damage against rebels. So we're able to knock this team out pretty quickly. And boom. Nice win there for 58. Oh, this fight was so annoying. If you want to see the most frustrating fight ever versus Grand Inquisitor, I think you're about to watch it now. This was so annoying. Every time I went and got some protection up and tried to kill someone, they just heal up the team. So look there, yellow, nope, 50% health and protection back. Like this, nice big courage hit again. Nope, back up to full health. It's like, come on, give me a break. Back into the red, and I think Sammy Sister heals. It's like, what? It's like, come on, just like, can you just chill out for a little bit and let me get some courage damage out, please, before you start healing up. This one goes on for quite a bit. I do speed up eventually. Obviously, with Ahsoka being a Jedi, she does tend to get... I don't know whether they actually purposely put that into their coding with Inquisitors going after Jedi targets if they can. But it does seem to go... They do seem to favour going after Jedi rather than Padme. Now said that, they're going after Padme a lot, aren't they? Oh, there you go. Yeah, obviously not ideal really taking Jedi against Grand Inquisitor, but I wanted the Galactic Republic synergy more for courage stacks more than anything. Finally got rid of Night Sister after, well, we should have got rid of her about a minute ago. That would have been more ideal, obviously, for keeping my whole team alive. Getting knocked out here. Luckily, Barriss' Zeta is helping out me a bunch and actually keeping my Ahsoka alive probably a bit longer than she probably should have been alive. Anyway, she just died there, but we got on full auto, not full auto, but fast forward because I'm literally just waiting for courage stacks. As you'll see, I'm starting to try and stack up as much protection up as I can on Barriss so that she can actually do a nice wet noodle hit finish. Didn't unfortunately get Seven Sister out there. Nice big heal up again from them. Such a drawn out fight. Luckily we got a miss there, which actually really helped, so we can stack up even more protection up. So I did a heal there to avoid wasting that protection, the courage stack, so we can keep stacking it up. Nice big heal, then we get 27 stacks. We knock out Seven Sister. Then I think we kill Grand Inquisitor after that pretty easily. And kick to finish for a 52. Then we have a trench fight. We use Bad Batch against this because I just thought that with them not being able to take a turn because of all the stuns and things that we would have been alright. But things don't quite play out at the beginning as I thought they would, in that we do actually get starts, we do get the days, but then I forget that they get to Foresight, which I believe is from Trench's Datacron. I have no idea where that's actually from, but that obviously stopped us getting the stuns on all three there, unfortunately. Luckily we got the stun on Deka, which is probably the most important one out of the lot, but even with that slight misplay, misjudgment of how the fight was going to play out, Trench still sucks. I know he's a lot better in Territory Wars, but in anything else, especially without Wat, if you don't take Wat, he does tend to do a lot worse. We desperately just need like another Wat type character that we can just replace Wat's use in the other teams that we use. So Wat can actually be used with Trench, which obviously would be ideal and would make his viability a lot better and not have him feel like such a waste of a character. I definitely would rate him the lowest character in a tier list of the conquest units that we have. I generally think he's probably the worst one we've actually got in terms of usefulness, especially for me, at least. Oh, and now we have my Jango Nute team. I have been absolutely loving Jango recently. He has gone from literally my arch nemesis to a really good friend. Obviously been doing absolute bonkers damage for me, as you're about to see. 134k rocket, and that's only from 1 damage, bearing in mind that I can damage twice. So that's obviously coming from the 100% damage from the level 6, which is really good for Jango if any of you are planning on building a Jango Con yourself. The level 9 is not worth it, but you can build like a level 6 with the 100% damage. Obviously, going to really help Jango a lot in a Separatist team, because he obviously gets damage immunity to start, so he gets 2 turns of 100% more damage, depending if he hasn't been stunned or not, that is. As you can see, basically 100k hit every time Jango took a turn there, so absolutely bonkers damage. Now for a really easy fight, I think this fight's over in like 20-30 seconds, if that. Obviously to show you the Datacron, because this team doesn't have one. But with Kyle and Bistan, go for Kyle first. If Kara was here, we'd not go after Kara just to stop her from potentially stun locking your team. And as you can see, that's just over in literally a blink of an eye for 7. And we have JML undersized versus this Dengar team. Just taking my Ben Solocron there for the extra protection from the stats. Obviously to help my lead ability do a lot more damage. Bear in mind, my JML is Relic 9. I only have 2 Relic 9s. Felt really dirty when I was giving JML his. It just doesn't feel right giving a Relic 9 when you don't need to. I was like, this, ooh, I don't want to give JKL a Relic Knight, but obviously it increases his viability a huge amount by doing that. And I believe this is the last ground fight, in that we have Qira Han and Chewie versus this leftover Inquisitor team. This team actually did a lot better against me than I thought it was going to. I thought I was just going to absolutely demolish it, but yeah, they're quite annoying. I do think out of all the weaker teams in the back, this is the only one that I actually do drop a banner against, which was quite unfortunate, but I guess you live and you learn. I was like, I don't think I'll use this again if I need 4 banners at least. Or maybe just in case the Inquisitors aren't as good next time, maybe. But that is all the ground zones done, and we were on a pretty good score at this point. Obviously, our only drop was against the Malgus team, and now we can move on to ships. Luckily, as you saw, nothing too meta there. Well, nothing meta at all, really. There's no Profanity or Executor. They basically set the same fleets as what I do, so we could actually use some nice fleet counters here because everything was pretty straightforward. So in this one, I'm going straight for Hyena. Obviously, I don't want him doing his AoE and giving everyone Vulture droids because that's really annoying. So if I can get rid of him early, see, just make things go a lot easier. So luckily able to kill Hyena before he takes turn, which is great. Now we can just go and kill the others, basically. I don't really know what strategy I was doing at this point, to be honest. Bringing in Boba just for the sake of it. And then they always bring in Spy. But I swear every time Spy comes in, even though there's only a choice of 2 normally between Xanadu Blood and Razor Crest, it always lands on Razor Crest. But I suppose he does have a second life, so it's not that bad, but it can be quite annoying. I think we target Spy here and call in Razor Crest to get the mark so we can stop going under stealth. Should mean we get more banners here, I think. Decided to go for a heal rather than ultimate just because I thought the battle was going to finish pretty soon. And that would have meant we got more banners, but then Malevolence comes along with a annoying AoE and steals all my banners, so... super annoying when that happens. So, okay, full health protection, yes, more banners, and then they're like, choo, choo, choo. More AoE damage, and no. There's a bunch of protection banners, unfortunately. Profanity versus Executor, Negotiator. This was one that I normally just go straight for Anakin and kill him, because if you get him in stealth, obviously from the unending loyalty, you can just dispel that with Profanity and get a marked on him, which makes things a lot easier than just killing him a second time. Which you're going to see here. Able to kill Anakin within the first 30 seconds of the fight is really great, and does make cleaning up the rest of the fleet a lot easier, which you're going to see. It's going to be really interesting to see how Leviathan does come into the fleet meta. It's very unlikely that I'll probably get it first time around, because I'm imagining that we get some pretty nasty requirements for it, bearing in mind what we had for Profanity. I don't want to say what exactly, but I do feel like it's going to be pretty bad, which I hope it's not. I would like to be proved wrong with that, but knowing track record and things, I kind of preparing for the worst, basically. I really want to know what ships we're getting as the additional ships I was talking about in the ASOL's video. Would really like to see a Solar Sailor for Dooku. I think that'd be quite cool as a Separatist and Sith ship to help boost both factions and their respective fleets, depending on who needs the ship the most. Be nice to have some like dual use ships like that maybe have 2 factions. Obviously, like Vader has Sith and Empire, so I imagine he's probably going to be used between the 2 fleets a lot, maybe, depending on what the optimal format is. But I kind of feel like we won't get the new Leviathan details until nearer the end of this Conquest set, because I don't imagine the CG are going to release Leviathan without Malgus' ship being available, because I kind of feel like that wouldn't really make much sense from a obviously selling a brand new ship point of view if you can't actually have the optimal squad to use it with. So I do kind of feel like we're actually going to have a bit of wait to have Leviathan, but it's always in the back of my mind with all my farming plans whether what we're actually going to need. I'm assuming a lot of Sith are going to need to be at relic levels, and obviously these new ships that we're going to get are have to be at 7-star, I imagine, as well. So definitely going to be interesting to see how it falls into Grand Arena and the meta and things. But this is the last fight of this Grand Arena. Taking Tarkin versus Raddus. This time taking Vader in the starting lineup over Bomber. Just because he does a lot more damage, obviously, than Bomber does with just his basic, obviously, the only damage attack he has. So we can get even more offense boosting buffs from that special, which makes both Shuttle and Vader Advanced do a lot more damage. It's unfortunate the Star ships don't do a lot of damage, as in like the TIE fighters. I don't know whether it's just like a summon ability thing or they're just not getting the actual benefit from the offense boost. I don't really know whether it's bugged or not, but I actually saw 180k hit there from Shuttle. I was quite surprised in the fight because I didn't realise that I was actually targeting it, so it worked out in my favour. Now, I think just kill Lone Sergeant for a 72. So another great fleet run from me, and that leaves us on a very good score of 2031. So obviously not ideal, bearing in mind that I did drop 20 or 30 banners on the Malgus fight because it did not include a clean-up attempt, which did not go well at all. So that's obviously why I was bashing him earlier on, because he's just not great at all. But as you're about to see in a minute, we did manage to get the win. So going into my third week on 3 wins is put me in quite a tough spot that I'm at the 3,730 mark. Back in the top 500 again, which is obviously great, but hopefully we can try and stay in Card 1 coming this next week. So that is going to be the end of the video. Obviously, if you have enjoyed it and this slightly different format, obviously a like and comment is always much appreciated. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. I shall catch you in the next one.